This lesson is on angle relationships. So let's look at this diagram here. We have two parallel lines cut by a transversal that creates these 8 different angles. So we're going to look for 4 interior angles. Well, those are going to be in between the parallel lines. So angles 3, 4, 5, and 6 are in between. So those are our interior angles. So I'm going to put angles 3 and 6 together. You'll see why in a minute. And then angles 4 and 5 together. So these are our 4 interior angles. Now let's take a look at angles 3 and 6. Angle 3 is an acute angle, and angle 6 is an acute angle. So angle measures are acute. Angles 4 and 5 are both obtuse. So if angle 3 is 80 degrees, then angle 6 equals what? So if angle 3 is 80 degrees, then angle 6 must also be 80 degrees because both of them are congruent. They are acute. If this one is 80 degrees, then this one is 80 degrees. All right, now we have exterior angles. There are 4. They are on the outside of the parallel lines. So 1, 2, 7, and 8 are the exterior angles. So again, I'm going to group them, angles 2 and 7. Let's see, 1 and 8. Okay, so angles 2 and 7 are both acute. And angles 1 and 8 are both obtuse. So if angle 2 is 60 degrees, then angle 7 equals what? Angle 2, if it's 60 degrees, it's acute, and so is angle 7. Since these are both acute, they are congruent. So if angle 2 is 60 degrees, angle 7 is also 60 degrees. Okay, adjacent angles are next. Literally next. Adjacent means next to. So there are 8 adjacent angles. So angles 1 and 2 are next to each other. They're adjacent. 2 and 4. 4 and 3, 3 and 1. These 4 angles are all adjacent to each other. And 5, 6, 6, 8, 8, 7, 7, 5. So let's write those pairs out. I'm going to start with 1 and 2. Angle 2 and 4. Angle 4 and angle 3. Angle 3 and angle 1. Okay, we'll put that in. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom ones. 5 and 6. 6 and 8. 8 and 7. 7 and 5. Okay, so what kind of angles are these? Well, if I look at 1 and 2, I have an obtuse and an acute acute pair, which means that they're supplementary. So if I add them together, they would equal 180 degrees. Let me check to see if it happens again. Angle 2 and angle 4. Okay, well, angle 2 is acute and angle 4 is obtuse. If I put them together, again, I get a straight line, 180 degrees. So these angle pairs are all acute obtuse pairs. Which means the sum of them is supplementary or 180 degrees. Okay, so if angle 3 is 70 degrees, then angle 4 equals what? So angle 3, 70 degrees, what would angle 4 equal? Well, I know that these two put together equal 180 degrees. So if I subtract 70, I'll have the remaining amount, which will equal angle 4. So 180 minus 70 will equal angle 4. So 180 minus 70 equals 110. So angle 4 equals 110 degrees. Okay, vertical angles. Vertical angles are across from each other, like 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 5 and 8, 6 and 7. So I'm going to group 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and then 2 and 3, 6 and 7. So 1 and 4, 5 and 8 are all obtuse angles. 1 and 4 are both obtuse, so that means they're congruent. 2 and 3 are both acute, so they're congruent. So vertical angles are congruent angles. 2 and 3, 6 and 7, also congruent angles. So if angle 6 equals 50 degrees, then angle 7 equals what? If angle 6 is 50 degrees, then angle 7 is also 50 degrees. All right, next section, corresponding. So corresponding is one that sometimes people have trouble with. So corresponding, you look at where an angle is in one group, and then you look at where the other one that corresponds with it is in the other group. So for example, angle 1 up here is in the top left corner. And if I look at this group, angle 5 is in the top left corner. So 1 and 5 correspond. Okay, 2 is in the top right corner up here, and 6 is in the top right corner here. So 2 and 6 correspond. 3 is in the lower left corner, so is 7. 4 is in the lower right, so is 8. So that's how you find corresponding angles. So angle 1 and angle 5, angle 4 and angle 8, angle 2 and angle 6, angle 3 and angle 7. So angles 1 and 5 are both obtuse. 4 and 8 are both obtuse. 2 and 6 are both obtuse. 3 and 7 are both obtuse. So these are congruent. They are both obtuse. And these are also congruent. Both angles in each pair are acute. So if angle 4 is 120 degrees, then angle 8 equals what? So angle 4 right here, 120 degrees. What would 8 be? Well, if this angle is 120 and it's obtuse, that means that every single obtuse angle in this diagram is 120 degrees. So if angle 4 is 120 degrees, then angle 8 is 120 degrees. Okay, alternate interior. So interior, we know, are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alternate is back and forth. So 3 and 6 are on either side of this transversal, and 4 and 5 are on either side. So those are alternate interior. So 3 and 6, and 4 and 5. So let's look at 3 and 6. 3 and 6 are both acute, and 4 and 5 are both obtuse. So these pairs have congruent angles, and this pair has a congruent angles. So if angle 3 is 60 degrees, what is angle 6? Well, if this acute angle is 60, then this acute angle is 60. All of the acute angles would be 60. Alternate exterior. So our exterior are outside of those parallel lines. Alternate, one is on one side of the transversal and the other's on the other. 1 and 8 and 2 and 7. Okay, let's look at the angle types. So 1 and 8 are both obtuse. 2 and 7 are both acute. So they are congruent. If angle 2 is 65 degrees, then angle 7 equals blank. So if this acute angle is 65 degrees, then this acute angle is also 65 degrees. Okay, same side, or otherwise known as consecutive interior. So same side interior. Again, we're looking at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Same side says it all. They're on the same side of the transversal. So 3 and 5, 4 and 6. Okay, let's look at the relationship here. 3 is acute, 5 is obtuse. So we have an acute obtuse pair. So that means if we put them together, they'd be supplementary. They would equal 180. 4 and 6 are also an acute obtuse pair. So if angle 3 equals 50 degrees, what does angle 5 equal? So angle 3, if this acute angle is 50 degrees, what would this angle equal? Well, I know put together they're 180. So if I subtract 50, I'll find this missing angle. So 180 minus 50 equals 130. So that must mean angle 5 is 130 degrees. Okay, same side, exterior, or sometimes called consecutive exterior. So again, our exterior 1, 2, 7, and 8. 1 and 7 are on the same side of the transversal. 2 and 8 are on the other side. Angles 1 and 7, angles 2 and 8. Okay, let's look at the kind again. 1 and 7 also are an acute obtuse pair. Angles 2 and 8 are acute obtuse pair. Which means they are supplementary as well. So if angle 1 equals 100 degrees, what is angle 7? Well, if this is going to be my obtuse is 100, I have to subtract it from 180 to figure out what my acute is. So 180 minus 100 equals 80. So angle 7 must be 80 degrees. Okay, now we're going to move to page 2, the next page in our notes. Okay, for this, you're going to need 4 different colors, whichever colors you choose. Okay, we're going to start off with identifying 4 corresponding angles. Okay, so I'm going to take my first color and I'm going to start right here. Okay, so I have to find another angle that corresponds with that. So again, that means that it's in the top left here. So I need to find the corresponding angle that's in the top left in this section. So that would be right here. Okay, let's find another pair. Okay, I'm going to do right here. This is in the top right in that grouping. And so this one would correspond here, top right. Okay, this one is bottom left. So bottom left is which one corresponds with it, which leaves us with our last corresponding angles, bottom right, bottom right. Okay, the next section, vertical angles. So vertical are across from each other. So these are vertical angles. These are vertical angles. These are vertical angles. And these are vertical angles. All right, our interior angles in between the 2 parallel lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Interior angles. All right, now we have adjacent angles. Those are our angles that are next to each other. So there are a total of 8. I'm just going to do 4 of them. So angles 1, 2, those 2 are next to each other. And these 2 are next to each other. Okay, let's do here. These 2 are next to each other. And these 2 are next to each other. Okay, so same side, interior. So here, interior is in between the lines, same side means here and here, or here and here. Okay, alternate exterior. So exterior, outside of the lines, alternate means one on one side of the transversal and one on the other. So I'm going to put one mark here, go down, and on the other side would be its partner. Okay, and here's another exterior. So go down the line and on the other side, alternate exterior. Okay. Exterior angles. All four outside of the parallel lines. Alternate interior. So interiors in between, alternate. If one is on this side of the transversal, then the other one is on the other side. Here's your other pair. This is interior. So on the other side of the transversal, it's pair, alternate interior. Okay, same side, exterior. So exterior is outside. So if one is here, same side of the transversal, the other would be here. And then this would make my other pair. This is an exterior, same side would be there. Okay, we're ready to go.